I was floating in a hot air balloon over the Moroccan desert and quietly falling apart. This is part 11 of my Spain and Morocco series. And on my last full day in Marrakesh, in the morning, I think it was very early in the morning because we left before sunrise. I went on a hot air balloon ride. And I was so excited because this is something I had never done before. But at the same time, at this point, I was just ready to go home. So luckily, because I was signed up for the tour on my own, but I get in the van and there were different groups. There were a few different groups, but the biggest group were these women. They were from the Netherlands and they were celebrating one of the women. I think it was her 60th birthday or something. So, and they were like this live rambunctious group and they kind of brought me into their group because they knew that I was alone. So the whole excursion was really fun. And I don't know if you've ever been in a hot air balloon, but it's a really cool sensation because, and I know this seems obvious, but you're simply floating, but it's just such a peaceful feeling, but also kind of creepy because the only thing that's keeping you up is the flame. But our pilot was really cool. But anyway, like we're up in the air and it's like this beautiful experience because we're in this remote area of the desert. So all you can see is desert. There's mountains in the distance. You can see the plots of land, which is mostly vegetation. There were a few like really huge like I say homes, but they look like castles. They might have even been hotels, but it was mostly just barren desert and there was some dried up riverbeds. So it was this really beautiful experience. But I was just so miserable because my heart was so heavy and all I wanted was to go home. But I stuffed down my feelings because there was a drone filming us and I wanted to buy a video, I think in a way to just like prove like how, nice my vacation was, even though it really wasn't. And so I like stuffed down my feelings and I was smiling for the drone. I was taking pictures. I think someone offered to take pictures of me. So there's pictures of me smiling on this hot air balloon, but in the true Instagram versus reality fashion. The Instagram version was me smiling and happy, but the reality was all I wanted to do was go home. And also the other cool thing about this hot air balloon excursion was that we landed, it's kind of weird. You land in the middle of the desert and then your van that picked you up from the hotel picks you up in the middle of the desert, kind of like in Seven when they're like in the middle of the desert. It's kind of like that, and like the delivery van pulls up. It's kind of like that, except it's like actually our transportation back to the home base. But anyway, but there's also, in addition to our passenger van coming to pick us up, there's also a truck and trailer for the hot air balloon. And one of the women in the rambunctious group, they asked our pilot, I can't remember his name, but they were like, oh, can you land on the trailer? Because apparently that's not part of it. Like, normally he would just land on the ground. We get out, get in the van, and then the crew for the hot air balloon would put it on the trailer. But they kind of challenged him, like, can you land on the trailer? And you could just tell, like, he was so, like, his ego was just so stoked and he knew he could do it. So he, like, landed on the trailer for us, which was actually kind of cool. And it was a opportunity for him to show off his skills. But as exciting as all of that was, as soon as I landed and got back to the hotel, I had already started compartmentalizing the rest of my trip because it was like, I just need to make it through these steps and then I'm good. And I normally don't like to compartmentalize because I feel like it's intentionally suppressing your feelings. But this was the end of 2 weeks of where, I mean, if you've been listening to the series, at any point where something could go wrong, it did. So I was very emotionally exhausted at this point. So for me, I was like, I just need a way to stay functional until I get home, and then I can have a total emotional breakdown if that's what I need to do. And I already did plan on emotionally unpacking everything once I got home. So this just further fed into that mission of like, I'm just gonna get through what I need to get through without having a breakdown, and then I can break down all I want when I get home. So after landing, the only things left to do were massage, eat, and shower. And then my flight from Marrakesh to Germany was leaving at 2 a.m. So I just needed to get to the airport at 2 a.m. and then 3 legs home. Marrakesh to Germany, Germany to San Francisco, and San Francisco to Honolulu. So I was like, okay. And that was only like, what, 8 steps? So I'm like, just as long as I get through these 8 steps, I'm good. So the next step was the massage. So I get to the massage and I'm in a good mood because I have less than 12 hours until I leave Marrakesh and just Morocco in general and this trip in general. So I like swept into the spa and I'm all excited because I'm leaving. And the girl at the front desk it was not the same lady. I had booked the massage the day before in person at the spa with this really nice lady. It was not the same lady. It was this young girl. And when I opened the door, she clearly was not happy to see me. And she barely even looked at me. She was like, "Can I help you?" And she kind of had the same attitude as the girl from the front desk from the day before. She also had a really thick French accent, and I could tell she wasn't happy to see me. And I was like, but I didn't care. I'm like, "You're not ruining my mood." So I was like, "Yeah, hi, I'm Angie. I'm in room 382 and I have a massage." And she acted like she had no idea that she should be expecting anybody. So she like rifles through her appointments and she locates my appointment. And without even looking at me, she hands me this paper to fill out to charge my room. And all I had to do was put my name, room number, and signature. So I quickly filled it out and handed it back to her. And again, like she wasn't even looking at me, wasn't even engaging at me. And keep in mind, this is a 5-star hotel. So usually at 5-star hotels, and I know foreign countries can be different than America, but usually they like treat you very well. But she's just like, couldn't even be bothered. And there was this hallway, and she was like, "You can go that way." And like I had no idea where I was going or like what she wanted me to do, but like she clearly like couldn't stand talking to me. So I'm like, "Fine, I'll figure it out. Surely there's like some kind of like dressing room or somewhere where I can wait." Well, so I start walking away and she's like, "Wait." And I turn around and she's definitely looking at me now because she has like this fiery glare. And she's like, "You said you were in room 382. I was like, "Yeah, I am." She's like, "This says 387." And I was like, "Oh my God, am I losing my mind? Did I write the wrong room number?" And she shoves the paper in my face and it said 382. So I was like, "It says 382. She was like, "It says 387. And she points to the 7 or the 2 and she's like, "This is a 7." And right underneath the 2, and I'm going to write this out for you so you know what I'm talking about. So I wrote my 2 like this, like a loop-de-2. So right under my loop-de-2, she wrote a 2 like this. And she was like, "This is a 2." And I was like, "Wait, what is happening here?" And despite being in an emotionally fragile state, I take a deep breath and I think about it rationally. So I'm like, okay, I can tell English is their second language, but I think through it and I'm like, there's no way that would affect her ability to recognize that there's 2 ways to write the number 2. Maybe, but that's very unlikely. Also, I'm like, she works at a hotel. She sees people, think of how many people are filling out these sheets. She sees people all of the time from all over the world. Unless she's new, but usually hospitality workers, they're just jumping around from different hospitality jobs. So I'm like, there is no way she's never seen the number 2 written like that before. So, I'm trying to think logically, but I can't think of anything. And the only thing I can come up with, I'm like, she's just being petty for the sake of starting shit. That's the only thing I can come up with. And I don't engage in petty bullshit. So, and also I was just exhausted. I was just tired of everything on this trip. So I was like, if you don't like my handwriting, you can feel free to write my room number in your handwriting. Oh, she was pissed, like furiously. She like dramatically ripped up the paper and threw it in the trash. And I was just like, what the hell is going on? Because like, even if I did mistakenly write a 7 or a different number, like, there was no reason to be like that dramatic and crazy about it. Also, keep in mind, this is a spa. So the vibe everywhere else, except between me and her, it's like all zen and quiet. And she's like basically yelling at me, like, you're trying to charge the wrong room, blah, blah, blah. And it was just such a weird juxtaposition. But anyway, luckily, my massage therapist shows up and she's like, oh, Miss Hawkins. And I was like, oh, yes, like just eager to go with someone who's being nice to me. So she takes me away to the massage room and I'm like all worked up now. And I'm like, how am I supposed to relax during my massage? But luckily, because I've been on survival mode basically this entire trip, I was like, okay, I just have to compartmentalize this and I'll worry about that girl when I leave. So that's what I did. And then when it was time to leave, I was like so relaxed. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't care. So as I was leaving, I could see that she wasn't at the desk. So I thought I dodged a bullet and didn't have to deal with her. But she like, it was like she was like waiting for me to come out. And she like pounced on me immediately. She's like, wait, you need to sign this. And she pulls out a fresh piece of paper. So this is where I was faced with a decision because I could have wrote the number 2 how she wanted me to, but that's not how I write the number 2. And I'm at a place in my life, I was a people pleaser for most of my life, and it destroyed me because it just wasn't who I am. And like all of the things that I was in survival mode all the time. I was chronically anxious and depressed. And now I'm so much happier with who I am. And it's like, I don't conform to what other people want me to be, especially over some petty bullshit, because the way I write the number 2, it's not incorrect. It's just different than the way she wanted me to write it. And that's okay. So I was like, I'm not engaging with this. So I filled out the form exactly how I did before and I walked away because I was like, I have no doubt in my mind that she's going to find a way to charge my room. Like, that's not even a problem. So fortunately, she didn't argue with me. And because my state was emotionally fragile, I could feel pulled to like ruminate and overanalyze, like, why did this happen? Why does stuff keep happening to me? But I was committed to compartmentalizing for the rest of the trip. So that's what I did. And stay tuned for next week, part 11, where we will wrap up the series. But the last thing I want to mention is the glow tip for this series, which is if you are a people pleaser, then you are so familiar with that feeling of someone else wanting you to do something to please them, and you feel this pull to make them feel uncomfortable. So you want to be agreeable, you want to be nice, you want to do what they want you to do to avoid rocking the boat. But all that does, it avoids rocking the external boat, but it rocks your internal world. And nothing is more important than your own emotional safety. So there's no reason why someone else's comfort should be more important than your own. And the only exception to that is if you are a caretaker and you're responsible for someone else's emotional or physical safety. So do not conform to what other people want you to do just so they can be comfortable. And if you struggle with this, then you might enjoy my self-compassion reboot on my YouTube videos. I do have a playlist. It's a 3-day self-compassion challenge, which is the antidote for people pleasing, which is one antidote for people pleasing. And there's actually 5 days because there's a bonus day, bonus day 4 and a day 0, which is the introduction. And there's real actionable steps that you can implement in your day-to-day life to help you overcome some of these behaviors. So if you're interested, it's my self-compassion reboot in my playlist. And otherwise, stay tuned for next week and part 11 of my Spain and Morocco series.